So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing the Indian Express newspaper of today's as well as yesterday's because we could not come live yesterday. So let's start with our discussion over here. Now today we will be discussing important articles which has been taken from today's newspaper as well as of yesterday's newspaper. When we are talking about yesterday's newspaper, there was nothing much to discuss. There was one important news which was there that 3 warship has joined the Indian Navy. So we will be talking about that, and other than that we will be moving to the different articles related to today's newspaper, that is ISRO achieved space docking. So here we will be talking about the space docking. Herein we will also see that ISRO will be going for a third launch station in Sriharikota. So we will be talking about that as well. Other than that, we will see what is space docking, why it is important for India, which other countries has already done that. All these aspects we will be covering today. Okay. Then coming to the next article, that is threats to Israel-Hamas ceasefire. You know that in yesterday's newspaper there was this discussion that Israel and Hamas has gone for a ceasefire. They have agreed to a ceasefire which will be starting from Sunday. Okay. Now there was 3 mediators which is there, like UAE, USA and Qatar, which were the mediators, and they have come up with a, you can say, ceasefire agreement, and the Israel's cabinet will be passing it and then it will be implemented from Sunday. Now the thing is, recently there was another attack which has been done. So considering that, we might see that there might be a delay or not, but when we are talking about the US government, they are saying that they will be going forward with the agreement. Okay, so we will be talking about that. Then we will be talking about one editorial which is related to the Israel issue. Okay, then coming to the next part, for your own read, there will be one article, that is your editorial itself. Okay, then coming to the last part, that will be your practice question which we will be discussing, and in the end there will be one question for your own practice. Okay, so now let's start. Fact of the day we will be discussing today with respect to the Lokpal. Okay, why? Because 16th of January, okay, so that is the date when Lokpal actually, you can say, in India that was implemented. So considering that, we will be talking about Lokpal, and then geography through maps. Herein we will be talking about the another island. Yes, last time we have talked about the Andaman and Nicobar. This time we will be talking about the Lakshadweep. Okay, so let's start our discussion. Before moving further, I would like to tell you that Drishti IAS is offering IAS foundation course for prelims as well as mains at our new center, Noida sector 15. For both Hindi and English medium, admissions are open. You can call on this number 87501 to get more details. Okay, now let's start with the discussion over here of Lokpal. Okay, Lokpal, or you can say ombudsman, when we are talking about the government servant, etc. If there is a complaint with respect to the corruption or any other such charges are there, who will look into it? Okay, so considering that, we have the body, that is Lokpal. So for that also, you know that historically if we are talking about, so there was this Andolan, Anna Hazare Andolan, you must be aware of that, and Lokpal is the result of that particular Andolan. Now let's see, if we are talking about the historically, before that, it is a statutory body. Statutory body means that it has been created via a route of statute. Okay, there is a law which has been passed by the parliament, and then based on that particular statute or based on that particular law, we have this body. Okay, this body is to investigate corruption allegation against specific public officials and related issues. Okay, now let's talk about the historical context over here. You will be seeing that if we are talking about the world history or the global level, so 1809 is the time when for the first time the institution of the ombudsman has been created in Sweden. Okay, similar to Lokpal, when we are talking about the term, this is the English term for the Lokpal, that is ombudsman, and in Sweden that was the first time when this institution was created. Okay, after that in India in 1963, if we talk about, idea of ombudsman first came up in the parliament. 1963 for the first time the idea came, and it is only in 2019 when we got first Lokpal. Okay, so let's see. 1971 first Lokayut established in Maharashtra. This is at the level of state. Okay, then coming to 2011, Anna Hazare movement for Lokpal, which we have seen or observed earlier also, because when we are talking about the Anna Hazare movement, that was a prominent thing which has happened in 2011. Back then I was in you can say 11th or 12th class, I guess. So back then this particular movement started, and in 2019 we got our first Lokpal. Okay, then in 2013 Lokpal and the Lokayukt bill to 2011 passed. That bill passed in 2011. Then in 2013 this became an act. Okay, in 2014 you can say that the Lokpal and the Lokayukt Act 2013 came into force, and amended in 2016. And after that, in 2019, retired Justice Pinaki Chandra Ghosh as first Lokpal of India. Okay, so here in 2013 or 14, we can say that the you can say act was implemented or enforced, but the first Lokpal was chosen in 2019. Okay, now, which is the act? Act is basically Lokpal and the Lokayukt Act 2013. Okay, seeks to establish an institution of Lokpal at the center and Lokayukt at states. Okay, so here you can say when we are talking about 1971, the first Lokayukt was formed in Maharashtra. Okay, and now there is a provision for every state that they should have a Lokayukt at state level. Okay, so that is there. Now coming to the some jurisdiction or the power related part here. So it includes the Prime Minister, ministers, MPs, group A, B, C and D officers of the central government. So these are the people. If there is an allegation of corruption or any related issue, in that case Lokpal will be looking into it. Okay, then institution financed fully or partly by the government, these institutions are also part of their jurisdiction. Then entities getting over rupees 10 lakh annually in foreign donations under FCRA. So when we are talking about the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, that is FCRA, so if there is an institution which is getting a you can say donation more than 10 lakh rupees, that institution will also be under the scrutiny of Lokpal. Coming to the next thing, that is power. Authority to approve the public servant's prosecution instead of the government or the relevant authority, power of superintendence and the direction over any investigation agency including CBI for cases related to or referred to them by Lokpal. If there is a case which has been referred by the Lokpal or which is related to Lokpal, in such cases on these agencies also they will have a power of direction and the superintendence. Then incorporate provisions for an attachment and confiscation of the property of the public servant acquired by the corrupt means even while the prosecution is pending. So let's say if there is a person A, he is a government official and he has purchased a property from illicit money or the black money or the corruption related money, so they will have the power to confiscate this property even though the prosecution is going on and he is not been convicted yet. Okay, so when the proceeding is going on, the trial is being going on, at that point of time also they will have power to confiscate this particular property. Okay, then moving further, punishment if we are talking about, so enhances maximum punishment under Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. So we have PCA Act which is there, under which there are you can say provision for the punishment has been given, but since these are the public offices, these are the people on whom the public trusts, so for that also they have enhanced the maximum punishment over here. Then appointment if we are talking about, so there is a selection of chairperson and the members to the selection committee. Selection committee will be constituting PM, Speaker of Lok Sabha, leader of the largest opposition party, CGI or the sitting judge nominated by the CGI, or an eminent jurist nominated by President. So this is the constitution of the you can say selection committee, and they will be selecting the chairperson and the members. Okay, moving further, search committee assisted selection committee in the process of the selection. So when we are talking about the EC, when we are talking about the election commissioners or the chief election commissioner, in that case also there is a search committee. Okay, the job of the search committee is to find the potential candidate. Okay, they will be giving the list of these candidates to this selection committee, and out of that list selection committee will decide that who should be the member. Okay, then structure if we are talking about, so we have a chairperson and the maximum 8 members will be there. Okay, 50% of the members will be judicial members and 50% from the SC, ST, OBC, minority and the women. Okay, so that is the constitution of the body. Coming to the next term, that is the term of the office, that is 5 years or until the age of 70 years. I hope that is clear. This is all about Lokpal, which you should remember for your prelims examination, because prelims is nearby now. So, when we are talking about the constitutional bodies, non-constitutional bodies, statutory bodies, all these bodies are important. And since there was a specific thing attached to over here, when we are talking about the Lokpal, in 2019, you can see the first Lokpal was, you can say, selected. So, with respect to that, this becomes important for us as well. Now, moving further, next part is the geography through map. Idea for the geography through map was that because we can go for the static revision, one by one, because we are targeting prelims as well. So considering that, we will be going through this, and here we are talking about the Lakshadweep. Now, when we are talking about this particular area, this is your Kerala coast. Now off Kerala coast there is a group of islands which is there. Okay, now this group of island is called as Lakshadweep. Okay, this includes the Minicoy as well. So this is the group of island which is called as Lakshadweep. Now Lakshadweep has been divided into different parts. We will be talking about that. So this is your first part, and then this is second, and then the Minicoy island. Okay, so let's see over here. You can see in the Arabian Sea there are three type of islands which are there. We have already seen that in the Bay of Bengal, in the southern side of the Bay of Bengal, we have Andaman and Nicobar group. Okay, there are other small islands which are there, but these are the prominent chain of island, you can say. Okay, so in Arabian Sea there is this one chain of island which is there, that is your Lakshadweep, and it is consisting of three parts. One is your Aman Devi Islands. Okay, now here these are your Aman Devi Islands. Here you can see Chetlet, then Kiltan, Kadmat, Amini, okay, and Agati. These are some of the islands which is important. Here name is given. You can say Amini, Keltan, Chetlat, Kadmat, Bitra and Perumal Par. These are the islands which are important from the Aman Devi island chains point of view. So this is your Aman Devi. Okay, coming to the next one, here you will be seeing the second group, that is Lakshadweep. Okay, so this is your second group of islands, that is you have Kavarati Islands, then Kalpeni Island, Cherium, Androth. These are the some of group of the island which is important from the Lakshadweep's point of view. Okay, so that is the second chain over here. Name are given, consisting of 5 major islands: Androth, Kalpeni, Karavati, Pitti and Suheli Par. Okay, so these are the two group of island. Then third is the Minicoy Island. There is a small island which is over here, that is called as the Minicoy Island. Okay, so this is about the Lakshadweep Islands. If we are talking about the geography, here you will be seeing that Lakshadweep Islands are group of 25 small islands. Aman Devi Islands are the northernmost, while the Minicoy is the southernmost. Here when we are talking about the northernmost and the southernmost, so this group of island, that is Aman Devi. Okay, so that is the northernmost, and here Minicoy is the southernmost. Okay, now all are tiny islands of the coral origin, that is atoll, and are surrounded by fringing reefs. Okay, so basically they are saying that these are all coral reefs. Okay, so please remember that coral reefs is the concept which is also important because it is a symbiotic relation. Okay, so that from the environment point of view, that is important for you. So please do one thing in your homework, you can go and read about the coral reefs. Okay, then coming to the next one, the largest and the most advanced is the Minicoy Island with an area of 4.53 square kilometer. The smaller largest one is over here, that is your Minicoy Island. Okay, then the most of the islands have low elevation and do not rise more than 5 meters above the sea level. Now because of which, since they are having the low elevation, that means that if there is a sea level rise, okay, so they are at the threat of extinction or the submergence. Okay, so that is about the Lakshadweep. We have talked about Lakshadweep, Aman Devi, Lakshadweep and Minicoy Islands. I hope that is clear. Now let's start with the today's discussion over here, that is government not for the third launch pad as ISRO reaches the docking milestone. Now docking is important for ISRO. First we will be seeing that what is docking. Okay, see, when we are talking about docking, let's say there is already a satellite which is there in the, you can say, space. Now docking is important because we are going for our own space station. Okay, so considering that, let's see, we have a space station. Okay, now space station is a big entity. There will be 4, 5, 6 modules which will be sent to the space one by one, and then they will be attached together. Let's say there was one particular satellite which has been sent to space. Okay, now there are other modules which has to be sent over here. Let's say for the power, we need one module which is having solar panels which will be attached over here. Okay, so that is the first module. This is the first module, this is the second module. Then there will be another module which is there for the, let's say, for the future endeavors. If the you can say space crews are going, or the manned crews are going over here, and then they have to enter the space station over here. So there is a you can say a provision which has been made that they will be entering from this side. The satellite will come and that satellite will be attached over here. Man inside the satellite will be going through this particular gate. Okay, so that is the second unit. That is the third unit. Similarly, there are other units which are over here. Now, this is the process through which we will be creating a space station. Now, for that, what is important, that if this satellite is already existing over there, and now I have to attach the second one over here, so I have to do it with a very precise manner, because otherwise it will be destroying this particular satellite. So for that, there is this maneuver which is performed, that is called as docking. docking and undocking. So let's see, there is this one satellite which is already over here in the space, okay, and we have made a provision that there can be a docking. Over here we have made a panel, okay. Now the satellite, second satellite is coming, which will be hovering around over here for a while, okay. This is the, you can say, one which is already existing over here, that is something which is stationary. This is the chaser, that means that is coming and chasing it, and ultimately it will be hovering over here. Then there will be some kind of attachment which will be, you know, coming over here, and then this will be moving into it and fit into the groove over here, okay. Ultimate structure would be something like that. This is attached with this now, okay. So that is the, you can say, maneuver of docking, okay. So that is there. Undocking means that already it is there and it is now being removed over here. So that is docking and undocking. India has recently, with the SpaceX, they have actually sent 2 satellites, okay. We had this particular mission, that is SpaceX. In the SpaceX mission, we had 2 satellites. One was, you know, these are 2 small satellites. When we are talking about the small satellite, that means that you have to be even more precise, because there is not much space, okay. Now considering that there were 2 satellites which was sent over here, SpaceX 1 and 2, DAX 1, DAX 2, and then when we are talking about these 2 satellites, and we have performed the docking activity over here in the space, and we have successfully done that. Now next step is to go for the undocking, okay. So that is why the docking is important, because we are going for the further, you know, mission, be it your moon mission, wherein we are trying to get the samples back from the moon, be it another mission when we are talking about the Gaganyaan, when we are talking about the creating Bharat's space station over here, okay. So Bharatiya Antariksh station we are trying to you know, achieve over there. So for all these things, docking and undocking is important. And now India becomes the 4th country to have this capacity. First was USA, USSR, right now you can say Russia, China, and now India has this capacity. So when we are talking about the space front, we are doing really good, okay. Now let's see, we have done that. Now they are saying that we will be creating one more launching pad, okay. Launching pad is the place from where you will be launching the satellites, okay. So when we are talking about our launching pads, we already have few, okay, and now we are going for the 3rd one at Sriharikota. We are having 2 at Sriharikota already, and we are going for the 3rd one at Sriharikota, okay. So let's see, setting up a 3rd launching pad at the India's only spaceport in Andhra Pradesh, Sriharikota. India has become the 4th country to demonstrate space docking capabilities after successfully docking 2 satellites under SpaceX, okay. So that is there. The new launch pad will help space agency by future ready for the heavy rocket, that is next generation launch vehicle. Now it is your job to go and read about NGLV, okay. We have, you know, we have SLVs, then we have PSLV, which is called as the workhorse of ISRO, okay. Then we have GSLV, okay. There are different variants are there. Right now we have the, you know, best one, that is GSLV Mark 3, okay. So that is there, and now we are going for the NGLV, that is next generation launch vehicle, okay. Now this will be having a better capacity, this will be having better fuel optimization, etc. So for that we are going for the 3rd launching pad. Now when we are talking about the NGLV, it will be the largest, it will be the biggest, okay. So that is there. Now here you can see the next generation launch vehicle NGLV, which is currently being developed, essential for the India's plan for setting up the Bharatiya Antariksh station by 2035. Now this is important, that we are having a deadline, that we are to send a manned mission to moon by 2040 and a Bharatiya Antariksh station, that is by 2035, okay. The 3rd launch pad and all associate facilities such as vehicle assembly, satellite preparation and the fueling will be set up at the cost of 3,984.86 crore, okay, within next 4 years, okay. So that is also one deadline which is there, that within next 4 years we will be having a you know, launching pad which is capable to launch NGLV vehicles, okay. Now when we are talking about the NGLV, it will be having a methane engine or LOX, then largest launch vehicle at the height of nearly around 91 meters, okay. That is 30-story buildings they are talking about, and it is referred as Surya, the another name or you can say reference which is Surya for this particular satellite launch vehicle, okay. 2 times taller than the LMV-3, which is already there, and which is heaviest vehicle at ISRO right now, which is operating. Okay, it is having a capacity to carry 8 tons. Okay, 8 tons means that we are talking about the 8,000 kg. Now, when we are talking about the NGLV, we are targeting 30 tons. Okay, so that is there. Right now, what is happening is that if we have to send some satellite or which is heavy in nature, we have to send different modules. Okay, let's say when we are talking about the space station, and we are saying that we are sending 5 modules. Why? Because we cannot send one module which is so heavy. Okay, so considering that, we are sending 5 different modules in different satellites. Now, idea over NGLV is that we can send more heavy satellites in the space. Okay, so that is there. Now, here you can see the configuration of Surya and the Surya Heavy. There will be 2 type of configuration. One is Surya and second will be Surya Heavy. The biggest vehicle capacity of carrying 30 tons payload into the low Earth orbit, and LMV-3 can carry 8 tons, which we have already discussed. Now, Sriharikota is already having 2 launch pad which is there. First was actually set up 30 years ago, which is helpful in launching the PSLV and SSLV. And when we are talking about the second one, that was recently 20 years ago, and it is launching GSLV and the LMV. LMV is the launch vehicle Mark 3 which is there. Okay, so that is about your third launching pad which is been, you can say, proposed recently, and government has given the approval. Now, how ISRO achieved the space docking and why it matters. So here I have told you that in the SpaceX mission we have sent this, and there are 3 countries which are already ahead of us. One is United States, Russia and China. Future goals if we are talking about, so we are saying that we are bringing back the samples from the lunar surface, that is there, setting up space station and sending human to the moon. These are the lined up projects which we are having. Now, right now 2 satellites of 220 kg, 2 small satellites which has been sent. Okay, and then they were they became close till 3 meters. When we are talking about the docking activities, I told you that there will be one satellite which is already stationary, then there will be a chaser, the second satellite. Now, second satellite will come over here, hover here for a while. There will be a distance of 3 meters which was there, and then there was some kind of attachment which will come, and it will start to fit in a group. Okay, so that is the idea. That is why they have tried it 2 times. Okay, here you can see on January 7th it was scheduled, but it could not happen. January 9 it was scheduled, it could not happen, but ultimately 12th January they tried, and we are successful in doing that. Next is to go for the undocking. Okay, so that is another part. Now, when we are talking about the docking process, I have already told you that here SDX-01 is the chaser, and the satellite close to the SDX-02, that is the target satellite. Here, that is the target satellite which is stationary, and the chaser which is coming from the different part, that is your chaser. Okay, so that is normal terminology which is there. So first it will come close to 5 kilometers, then 1.5 kilometers, 500 meters, 225 meters, 15 meters and 3 meters, and after that they will be joining. Okay, so that is the process how docking takes place, which I have already explained. Why Indian mission now, as I told you that we have mission lined up for the space station by 2035 and the moon human flight to the moon by 2040. So for that it becomes important. Bharatiya Antariksh Station built by bringing together 5 modules in the space. So we will be having 5 modules over here. Then when we are talking about the next lunar mission, that is Chandrayaan 4, in that also we will be bringing samples back, and there will be 5 key modules which will be sent in this you can say mission as well. So for that, docking and undocking is important, and that is why India has tried now. When we are talking about the other countries here, United States back in 1966, they have sent Gemini 8. Okay, so Gemini 8 was the one wherein they have actually gone for the docking activity. Okay, so that is there. There was already a target vehicle, that is Agena. They have actually attached Gemini with the Agena. Okay, now this is the vehicle where you can say it was the process. When we are talking about the Gemini 8, this was the satellite mission which was actually commanded by Neil Armstrong, who in 1969 became the first person to set foot on the moon. Okay, then USSR in 1967. Okay, so USSR has already performed this maneuver in 1967 with Cosmos 186 and Cosmos 188 spacecrafts. Then China in 2011, there was this Shenzhou 8 spacecraft which was docked with the Tiangong Space Laboratory, which is there. Earlier they had actually gone for the, you can say, unmanned flight, and after 1 year they have gone for the manned flight. Okay, so that is there. And now coming to the docking, and it's important, I have already told you. If you want, you can go through this particular slide over here. I hope that is clear. Now we can move to the next part, that is the 3 warship join Navy. PM says India key to global security. Now this is the first time you will be seeing that a submarine, a destroyer and a frigate built in India, they have been, commissioned together. Okay, so when we are talking about the your capacities, so submarine, which is basically underwater, destroyer, it is an attacker warship, okay, which is there, and the frigate, which has been all of three has been commissioned together for the first time. Names are Surat, Nilgiri and Bakshir. Okay, so we'll be talking about three of them now. So here you can see, first we are talking about the Nilgiri. Here you can see this is the picture of the Nilgiri. Okay, it looks state of the art, it looks very amazing. So that is something you can go and watch the video on YouTube as well. Okay, so here you can see stealth frigate. Stealth means that it is very difficult to detect. Okay, when you are in the sea, there are radars which are there. Now you have to make sure that you are not being encountered in the enemy radar. Now stealth characteristics, that means that it is very difficult to actually detect this. Okay, so that is there. Stealth frigate built under the code name Project 17A. We have a project, that is Project 17. Under this we are having two different projects, which is 17A and 17B. Okay, now these are related to your frigates only. When we are talking about the stealth frigates, we are having the 17A and it is having the guided missiles as well. And when we are talking about the 17B, that is the Surat, the next one is the Surat, which has been built under the Project 17B. Okay, follow on vessel on the Shivalik class on the Project 17. As I told you, Project 17, we are having Project 17A, that is basically follow up of the Project 17. Then 17 already in service, that is Shivalik class, the first of the 7 frigate in the Project 17A, being built by the Mazagaon Dock Shipbuilders Limited in Mumbai and the Garden Reach Shipbuilders and the engineers in Kolkata, deal with both conventional and the non-conventional warfares. Okay, so or the threats. When we are talking about the conventional threats, that is basically your old style of fighting. When we are talking about the manual, you can say encounters were there, so that is there. Other than that, now when we are talking about the non-conventional, here all the kind of warfare with respect to, you can say, drone, AI, all these things are included over here. That is non-conventional. Crucial role in the anti-surface, anti-air and the anti-submarine warfare. Anti-surface, okay, when we are talking about the any kind of, you can say, missile which has been launched towards the, you can say, land side. Okay, so that is, for that also it has the capability anti-surface, then anti-air and anti-submarine warfare, so that is important. Then coming to the next one, fitted with the supersonic surface to surface missile system. As I told you, there will be a guided missile system which will be there in the Project 17. Okay, so in the Project 17A, guided missile system will be there. So here you can see there is a surface to surface missile system, a medium range surface to air missile system, a 76mm upgraded gun and the combination of rapid fire close in weapon system which is there. Okay, so you can say that this is an advanced version which we are looking at. Other 6 ships from this class, that is Himgiri, Taragiri, Udagiri, Dunagiri and Vindhyagiri. You can see all of these are your name of the hillocks, okay, or the mountains ranges. Okay, so Nilgiri, Himgiri, Taragiri, Udagiri, Dunagiri and Vindhyagiri. So basically here you can say, when we are talking about the project 17A, these are the names which can, give you, you can have a hint that if there is a mountain range name which is there, that is under the Project 17A. Okay, so that is there, are at various stages of construction at MDL Mumbai and the GRSE Kolkata. Okay, I hope that is clear. Coming to the next one, that is your INS Surat. Here, this is the fourth and the final stealth guided missile and destroyer under the Project 15B. Okay, now this is another project, that is 15B. INS Vishakhapatnam, INS Marmagaon and the INS Imphal. So these are the, you can say, destroyers which are there under the Project 15B. Then there are 4 you can say vessels which are there. One is your INS Surat, Vishakhapatnam, Marmagaon and Imphal. Now here you can say these are the name of the cities, 15B cities. Okay, coming to the next one, Indian Navy's first AI, artificial intelligence enabled warfare, warship, which will utilize indigenously developed AI solution to enhance its operation efficiency manifold. Now here it is one thing which is important, that they are having the integration of AI over here. Now that is why we said that is the conventional and the non-conventional warfare as well. Okay, so that is there. Coming to the next one, designed by the Warship Design Bureau, the Indian Navy's in-house warship design unit built by the MDL. Okay, so that is about Surat. Destroyer are category of warships that have high speed and maneuverability. great strike capabilities and the long endurance. So basically these are the destroyer. That means that they have the attacking capacities. So here you can see this will be having a high speed maneuverability. Second, greater strike capabilities and the longer endurance. Longer endurance means that if someone is hitting you, then you should be able to withhold the you can say offense. Okay, so that is there. It is the fourth and the last step of the project 15B. We have already seen that there are four projects over here: INS Visakhapatnam, Marmagaon and Imphal, and it is INS Surat. Its overall length is 163 meter and the weight is 7400 ton. Now the name is from the Gujarat's commercial capital Surat, which is the second largest commercial hub of the Western India after Mumbai. The ship has been built using block construction methodology that involves full construction in two different locations and then joined together at one hub. Okay, block construction. One block will be constructed at different place, second block will be constructed at other place, and then they will be joined together. Okay. Sir, yesterday class, yes, I was not well, so we could not take the live, but this article is from yesterday's you can say newspaper only. So we are considering, we are taking all the articles which are important, so your coverage is not missed, so don't worry about that. Okay, now coming to the next one, that is your INS Vakshir. Okay, so this is the sixth and the final submarine of the modern stealthy cavalry class. Now this is the cavalry class which is there. Stealthy, that means that it is difficult to detect, under project 75. Now when we are talking about the project 75, this is related to the submarines, construction of the submarines. Okay, now diesel electric transmission system will be there, and it is a attack or hunter killer submarines. Okay, so it will hunt and kill. Okay, so that is there, which means they are designed to target and sink adversary naval vessels. Okay, so basically if there are naval vessels which are there and the submarines are there, it will actually find it and then destroy it. Okay, so that is there. Undertake a wide range of missiles including the anti-surface, anti-submarine and intelligent gathering, area surveillance and the special operations. Then submarines are armed with the wire guided torpedoes, the anti-submarines, anti-ship missiles and advanced sonar system. When we are talking about the sonar system, that is for the navigation. Vakshir is the name Vakshir is named after a type of sandfish found in the Indian Ocean. Okay, so that is about Vakshir, which is a submarine. Okay, so that is there. This is the picture of the Vakshir. Okay, now let's move further. If we are talking about the importance, I have already told you that Nilgiri is under the project 17A, INS Surat is the fourth and the final ship of the project 15B, and INS Vakshir is the sixth and the final submarine of the Scorpion class or the Cavalry class. Okay, then commissioned in the Indian Navy at Naval Dockyard in Mumbai, all of three at the same time. Then three vessels together. First time the destroyer, frigate and the submarine were joined together. Joining the Indian Navy together, bolster India's strategic maritime influence in the Indian Ocean region and beyond, formidable deterrent against any regional threats. And you know that India is a net security provider in this particular area. Okay, and India is trying to project itself as a security provider in this area when we are talking about the Southeast Asia or the South Asian region. So India is trying to be a security provider, and that is why it is the important development which has happened. Okay, now coming to the next part over here. Celebration, relief on the street. Recently it was seen that there will be a ceasefire agreement. So considering that there was an agreement which was there are three mediators. One is your USA, UAE and Qatar. Okay, they have come up with, after various levels of talk, they have come up with a ceasefire agreement, and they have said that it will be implemented from Sunday. Okay, what are the important features here? So you can say structure of the deals, phase 1, plan for the phase 2 and 3. There will be three phases, phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3. For the first phase, you can say 6 weeks initial ceasefire phase will be there, including gradual withdrawal of the Israel from the central Gaza and return of the Palestinians to the north, and 600 truckloads of the aid will be given to the Gaza every day. Okay, so one thing that military will be withdrawing and aid will be given over here. Hostage swap will be there, 33 hostages to be released by Hamas, female hostages and under 19s to be released first, and followed by the men over 50 in the second time. Okay, then 30 Palestinian detainees will be released for every citizen civilian hostage, 50 for every female Israeli soldier Hamas release. Okay, so basically they are saying that they will be going for the hostage swap. You don't have to remember all these numbers. Okay, then Israel will release all Palestinian women and the children under 19 detained since October 7th to 2023. This is the time when we have seen the attack by Hamas on the Israel. Okay, By the end of the first phase, the total number of the Palestinian released will be depending on the hostages released, and the could be between 900 to 1650. Okay, so that is there. What's next? Implementation to be guaranteed by Qatar, Egypt and USA. Okay, so that is there. Sorry, this is Qatar, Egypt and USA. Qatar, Egypt and USA. Then negotiations over the second phase will be done when the process begins. Okay, after that they will be going for the negotiations as well, expected to include the release of all remaining hostages, a permanent ceasefire and a complete withdrawal of the Israeli army from the Gaza area. Okay, a third phase is expected to include the return of the all remaining bodies and the start of the Gaza's reconstruction, supervised by Egypt, Qatar and the United Nations. Okay, so that is there. Now this is the terms of the, you can say, the ceasefire agreement. Now the problem is that whether we are going for it or not, whether Israel will be going for it or not. USA said that yes, we will be implementing, we will be, you know, giving the guarantee for the implementation of that. Okay, they will be responsible for here. Here you can say that they have said that the implementation to be guaranteed by the Qatar, Egypt and USA. Okay, but what has happened is that yesterday there was this another strike by Israel. Okay, so Israel strikes Gaza, kills 77. So let's see what happens in the future. So that is one kind of, you can say, uncertainty which is there. Now prioritize MSME under 3,000 crore interest equalization scheme. Now here before the budget there are various discussions which are going on, and then when we are talking about the ministers over here, so Minister of Commerce and the Industry, they have actually said, the minister in the, you can say, Minister of Finance, they have said that these particular interest equalization scheme, that should be extended for a period of time. It was about to end at the 31st December 2024, and that should be extended because the exports are not performing well and MSMEs are getting hurt. So that is why they have actually talked about it. So here you can say Commerce Ministry proposed extending the 3,000 crore interest equalization scheme. When we are talking about the interest equalization scheme, you can say that there are some kind of subvention, interest subvention will be given under this particular scheme. Okay, now a scheme provides interest subvention of 3% for the MSMEs, 2% for the larger exporters. Okay, extension sought to cover the loans until December 2025, ensuring the export competitiveness. And here when we are talking about the current scheme, that is set to expire on the 31st December 2024. Now they are saying that should be extended for a while because exports are not performing well. Exporters face liquidity challenges because when we are talking about the exchange, let's say there was this exporter A which has sent a particular kind of substance or the, you can say, goods and services to USA to person B. Okay, now the thing is there is a travel time, let's say if we are talking about the 12 days, if there is a travel time of 12 days, so he will be sending it, they will be receiving it, and then they will be sending the money. In this particular process, all the, you can say, checks and balances which are there on the boundaries, all will be taking time, and ultimately this particular person has to wait for the money. Okay, for that they have actually provided the credit related facilities. Now here you can say the export performance is declined in financial year 2022-23 because of the global trade slowdown. No increase proposed in the total outlay, that is 3,000 crore. Scheme aims to reduce the reliance on the high cost loan and enhance MSMEs the global competitiveness. If the loans are, you can say, cheaper, that means that will be easier for the MSMEs to perform. Okay, and when we are talking about the global competitiveness as well, we will be performing better at the global level. Then exporters demand quicker disbursement of the credit and measures to address the working capital crunch, that is the working capital crunch, because this particular capital is stuck for more than a month before the exporter is getting the money. So for that they are going for this particular scheme. Now passing reference, that EC to parties label all AI generated campaign material. When we are talking about the new AI etc., now that there are some kind of threats which are there because misinformation or disinformation can be spread through AI. Okay, so now considering the elections, they have said that because of the misinformation, disinformation, what can happen is that there will be a you can say wave that can be created. Okay, a false wave can be created, false information can be sent, and that will impact the opinion of the masses, or that will impact the right to vote which is exercised by the masses. So considering that, EC has said that if you are generating anything from AI, you have to mark it that it is generated by artificial intelligence. Okay, so that is the passing reference. Moving to the next one, editorial. A faraway peace, cessation of Israel-Hamas hostility is welcome, but the way forward is uncertain. Since October 7th, 2023, we are seeing this particular issue which is going on. Okay, international organizations including United Nations have been pushing pushing for the resolution, and recently they have said that they will be going for a ceasefire. But problem is that there is a mistrust between the parties, be it Israel side, be it the Hamas side. There is a mistrust, and that is why. And other than that, also when we are talking about the Palestinian cause, they are they want to create their own state, that is Palestine. But the thing is, there is a divide among their own lines as well. When we are talking about the Palestinian authorities, in Gaza we have Hamas, in the Western Bank we are having the PNA, that is basically Palestinian National Authority. Now because of which there is a divide, and that is weakening the cause of Palestinians, which is there. Future prospects, if we are talking about, so challenges for the peace, okay, a comprehensive solution required, addressing the core issues. What is the core issue? That is the blockade of Gaza first. Second is the mutual distrust and the role of the external actors like Hezbollah, Houthis, Iran, etc. These are there, these are also being part of it, and because of the more and more stakeholders, there is this issue of mistrust which is gaining weight. Then rebuilding the Gaza's infrastructure and addressing the humanitarian needs will require international cooperation and the funding. Now if we are talking about a solution, that means that we have to go for the reconstruction of Gaza. Okay, so that is what has been talked about. Long term uncertainties because of the mistrust, obviously there will be uncertainty. Israel is not sure whether Hamas will be going for the disarmament or they will be attacking back or what. So considering that there is a, you can say, mistrust, and which has been actually discussed in that. Other than that, they have discussed that what is the issue, they have discussed that what is the ceasefire, etc. So that has been covered by me. Okay. Now for your explanation, there is this question: which of the following is not a site for the Kumbh Mela? Haridwar, Prayagraj, Nasik or Varanasi? Option D is your right answer over here. We have already discussed that. And for today's practice, we have a question that what is project 75 related to? Construction of fighter aircraft, development of submarines, manufacturing of the space vehicles, development of the missile systems. Okay, so that is basically your question for today. You have to attempt it and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you, and please subscribe the channel.